7artisans just made their first autofocusing lens, and this is for the Sony E Mount. Let's talk about it. Before I begin, 7artisans did mention to me that this is still a prototype, so it may not have the same issues that I'm going to mention in this video when it reaches to you guys. Let's start off with the build quality. It's built quite well. The feeling is very premium, all metal construction, and there is a nice weight to it. This lens, however, is by no means compact. For something this size, I was expecting this to be like an f1.4 lens. Where's my Sony G Master lens? This is the Sony G Master f1.4, and this is the 7artisans. The 7artisans is just a little bit longer, and this the G Master is a little bit girthier. But again, this is an f1.8 and this is an f1.4. So yeah, and as you can see, they are awfully similar in size. This lens weighs about 420 grams, and that's quite a hefty fella for a standard zoom lens. The manual focusing is just a bit stiff, and if it was just a smidge looser, it would have been great. The aperture ring is kind of disappointing. It's not a clicked aperture, so it doesn't have those hard stops. So you can accidentally nudge this aperture without being aware of it. So you just got to be mindful of that. There is an autofocusing toggle right here where you can flip to manual focus or autofocus. And again, the copy that I got, the toggle does feel a bit loose for my liking. It doesn't feel secure at all when I'm switching it back and forth. So a little bit of more resistant would have been nice. And on the back of the lens right here, you got your USB-C port for your firmware updates. And now we got to talk about the autofocusing. This is a nice addition, and it works very well with my Sony A7C II, which is surprising. It tracks the eye very well, and as you can see here, I told this model to just walk down a straight line and then turn around and walk back. And the 7artisans did a decent job, and I am thoroughly impressed. And this is all at f1.8 as well. So as you can see, when she turned around, the Sony A7C II got the back of her head in focus. So this is quite impressive for a 7artisans' first crack at an autofocusing lens. As I was shooting with this lens outside for portrait photography and just shoot some sample images, I thought the AF performed quite well. Now let's move on to the image quality. The shots that I took at f1.8, I was very happy with. Stopping it down and you're going to get a lens that performs very well. There is a slight vignetting at f1.8, but I find it to look very well because it does give that vignetting effect that I like for my portraits. Chromatic aberration is present when it comes to certain scenes. You can see it in these shots. The sunlight was hitting the model's necklace and in her hair. So you can see some purple fringing and as well as some green fringing on the necklace. I find stopping down this lens from anywhere from f2.8 to f8 to give you a sharp image. It does look really good. So you're going to get sharpness that performs well like any other modern lenses out there. Again, the bokeh at f1.8 is also nice. It's nice and smooth. The close focusing distance is at 50 centimeters, and that's not great in my opinion. Usually for a 50mm focal length that I'm used to, it's around anywhere from 30 centimeters to 40 centimeters. And this allows you to get closer to get more of that background blur. I would like to be able to get closer to get an intimate shot, and I can't do it with this lens because of the close focusing distance. If you enjoy the 7artisans lens characteristics from their manual focusing lenses, you're going to feel right at home with this lens because the look and the character that I see on this lens reminds me of the manual lenses that I've used in the past from them. The bokeh looks similar. The chromatic aberrations, the characteristics, it all falls in line with the 7artisans look. Are there any negatives? Yes, I mentioned earlier. There are a few things that I would put in the cons right now, and that one of them is the declicked aperture ring. I wish it was clicked, and then the AF and MF toggle switch being a bit flimsy, and the focusing ring being a little bit stiff. And I also think the size of this lens could be a deterrent for some of you guys. I was expecting an f1.8 just to be a little bit smaller than this lens right here. So this lens does have a little bit of bulk, but if you guys don't mind that, I think this lens is good. And I also do like the new addition of the autofocusing, and I think it works very well with my Sony A7C II. You are able to take more risks now because it is an autofocusing lens as opposed to before where, when I was using a 7artisans manual lens, I couldn't tell my subject to move freely as I do now. And again, it takes great images. The bokeh is smooth at f1.8, and I think for a first crack at an autofocusing lens, I think 7artisans did a good job, and I can't wait to see what they do next. Maybe, perhaps they can do something at an 85mm focal length maybe, or maybe like a 35mm as well. Like, I can't wait to see what 7artisans does next. This is exciting times ahead, guys. More third-party lenses are going to do autofocusing lenses, and it's really, really great. It's an exciting time, so you have plenty of more options. People who can't afford the upper tier lenses can now have something to look forward to with these lenses right here, especially ones that performs well, that has great image quality, has autofocusing, and has, you know, a good look to them. And as of this recording, I'm not aware of the pricing just yet, but if I do know, I will let you know down in the description below. And also, I have to remind you again that this lens is a pre-production sample, so keep everything that I say with a grain of salt. Things may change by the time this lens gets to you. So if you find this video valuable, consider subscribing for more video like this. Thanks.